Chipotle has agreed to pay a record $25 million fine over the norovirus outbreaks that sickened customers across the country a few years ago.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 fast food items that made people physically ill.
E. coli sparking a Midwest mystery, possibly tied to the Wendy's fast food chain.
For this list, we'll be looking at products served at restaurant chains that took a toll on the customer's health. Which fast food item arranged a date between you and a toilet? Let us know in the comments. Or don't if it's too gross. Number 10. Green onions. Chi-Chi's. You'll find throughout this list that sometimes the healthiest options on the menu prove to be the direst. 2003 was a rough year for this Mexican food chain. In October, Chi-Chi's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
The national chain Chi-Chi's, which is in bankruptcy, is out to rebuild its reputation. A challenge, to say the least.
Just 1 month later, America's most substantial hepatitis A outbreak to date was traced to a Chi-Chi's location at Pittsburgh's Beaver Valley Mall.
If you ate at this Chi-Chi's anytime within the last 14 days, the health message is, see your doctor.
98% of the reported patients had consumed items with green onions, most notably mild salsa and chili con queso. The scallions, which originated from Mexico, were probably tainted, quote, in the distribution system or during growing, harvest, packing, or cooling, according to the CDC.
Because they are being blamed for this major tragedy. And with people dying and being sick and record numbers of people getting hepatitis across, this area, they're breaking national records.
Including 13 restaurant employees, over 650 individuals were affected by the outbreak, with at least 4 losing their lives. Number 9. Salad, McDonald's. A 2016 report found that McDonald's kale Caesar salad possesses more calories than a double Big Mac.
The salad that eats more like a burger. One of McDonald's new kale salads hits the energy scales at 730 calories, 53 grams of fat, and 1,400 milligrams of salt.
That's not the only time Mickey D's has come under fire for their so-called healthier options. 2 years later, over 500 cases of illness were reported from 15 U.S. states as well as New York City. What did they all have in common? Every person had eaten a McDonald's salad, which contained the coccidian parasite Cyclospora.
7 people have reported eating at McDonald's restaurants in Missouri before getting sick. More cases are still under investigation. Cyclospora cannot be spread from person to person. The parasite comes from different types of imported fresh produce.
Diarrhea is the most prominent side effect, in addition to nausea, fatigue, and intestinal pain. McDonald's would temporarily cease serving salads at almost 3,000 locations, mostly from the Midwest.
McDonald's, the world's largest restaurant chain, says it is working with public health authorities in both states and has voluntarily stopped selling salads at the some 3,000 affected locations until it could switch to another lettuce blend supplier.
The FDA investigated the romaine lettuce and carrot mix McDonald's received from Fresh Express, unearthing Cyclospora in the sample. Number 8. Watermelon, Sizzler. Growing up, many of us bought into the urban legend that if you eat a watermelon seed, one would grow inside you.
What's the matter, Chucky? You guys, I swallowed a seed.
Of course, we now know that that's rubbish, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be weary the next time you devour this fruit. In 2000, Wisconsin was hit with an E. coli outbreak traced to multiple Sizzler locations in Layton and Mayfair. According to the Wisconsin Department of Health, Sizzler employees had cross-contaminated raw meat with watermelon. Excel Corporation, which supplied the meat, was also deemed accountable.
Disease has gotten much worse than it was, with a much greater fraction of people having to go to hospital and a much greater fraction of people that are seriously infected with the toxin.
Almost 150 people were infected, including a young girl who tragically lost her life. After 8 years, her parents would reach a $13.5 million settlement, although this wasn't the only lawsuit brought against the responsible parties. Number 7. Coffee, Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts faced a salmonella scare in 2009 when supplier Plainview Milk Products Cooperative thought their equipment might have been exposed. As a precaution, Dunkin' ceased serving hot chocolate and Dunkachino beverages for a period.
The company says it was a precautionary measure and that none of its products were contaminated. It expects to resume sales shortly.
While they avoided any illness in this case, a dubious side effect has been connected to Dunkin's coffee over the years. Various Dunkin' patrons have claimed that their coffee caused an upset stomach, extending to diarrhea.
Yeah, I come down to Dunkin' every day. Grab a Crulla, have an extra large, 3 Parliaments, take a big dump. That's kind of the routine.
This can be attributed to their coffee's high acidity levels, which some customers may be more sensitive to than others. We can see why many choose Dunkin's coffee over Starbucks. In addition to being less expensive, Dunkin' will inject your beverage with more caffeine, although that can come at a price.
Dunkin' is all about a quick, affordable menu and making trends accessible to everyone.
Time to make ew. Number 6. Big Catch Meal, Long John Silver's. It's not as if fast food is lacking in unhealthy options. So it really said something when the CSPI declared Long John Silver's Big Catch the, quote, worst restaurant meal in America in 2013.
Labeled the worst restaurant meal in America, the Big Catch from Long John Silver's. That's a large piece of breaded fried haddock, hush puppies, and onion rings.
Complete with fried haddock, hush puppies, and onion rings, the meal amounted to 1,320 calories. CSPI Executive Director Michael F. Jacobson went as far as to call the meal, quote, a heart attack on a hook and, quote, America's deadliest catch.
It has 33 grams of trans fat, 19 grams of saturated fat, 3,700 milligrams of sodium, and more than 1,300 calories. Yum. All that for $4.99.
Containing more trans fats than anyone should consume in 2 weeks. It's safe to say that anyone who ordered the Big Catch left the restaurant in lesser health. Reflecting on the now-defunct Big Catch in 2015, Jim Varell of Paste magazine wrote, quote, I'm experiencing nostalgic heartburn right now, just remembering that experience, end quote.
I wouldn't recommend this to anyone I liked. Or anyone that I, didn't want to see in physical pain.
Number 5. Items with lettuce, Taco Bell and Wendy's. Lettuce usually makes us feel a little better about fast food, but sometimes it's healthier to hold the greens. In late 2006, over 70 Taco Bell patrons across 5 states had a brush with E. coli, 11% of whom endured a form of kidney failure.
At least 36 people got sick from E. coli, apparently after eating at several Taco Bell restaurants in central New Jersey and on New York's Long Island.
Although the CDC initially blamed green onions, the FDA eventually pinned it on lettuce. Earlier that same year, Wendy's prepared food for over 300 at a Core Academy luncheon in Utah. At least 4 contracted E. coli, with iceberg lettuce deemed the most likely suspect.
I felt awful. I was sitting there, I was holding my gut, rocking back and forth.
Hillary Kaufman says the bacteria landed her in the ER, adding now she's taking antibiotics.
In 2022, Wendy's was in the news again for nearly 100 E. coli cases in 6 states. Wendy's removed romaine lettuce amid the outbreak, although it's yet to be confirmed if that was the cause.
Fast food chain Wendy's is no longer using lettuce in its sandwiches in multiple states as the CDC looks into an E. coli outbreak in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania.
Number 4. Coleslaw, KFC. Some claimed they became physically ill upon finding out how KFC makes their gravy.
Let's have a look at the little sweet pea. Oh, look at that beauty. Not wasting my precious gravy.
We guess you're better off ordering a side of coleslaw. Then again, maybe not. In May 1998, 27 people endured E. coli after eating coleslaw at an Indiana KFC. The cabbage used for the coleslaw reportedly wasn't from KFC's usual supplier.
It's a rather dangerous form of E. coli. We can get it from eating contaminated food or contaminated water.
While some of the mushy cabbage was discarded, the heads they kept apparently weren't washed. Patrons were shocked when only a year later, more than 10 E. coli cases were once again linked to KFC's coleslaw.
2 mashed potatoes and gravy, 1 large coleslaw.
One of those customers, Geraldine Johnson, almost died after consuming the contaminated coleslaw at an Ohio location. She was hospitalized for nearly a month and suffered kidney failure, hitting KFC with a lawsuit. Number 3. Halloween Whopper, Burger King. Remember the episode of SpongeBob where Pretty Patties turned consumers into different colors?
Your dumb Pretty Patties turned my face purple! Look what I got under me kilt! And look at our tongues!
The Halloween Whopper had similar side effects, albeit more disgusting. Landing on the menu in October 2015, this limited-time Whopper stood out with a distinct black bun. this isn't the only color that appeared out of place.
This Halloween, things will get dark. With A1 flavor baked into the bun, things will get deliciously dark.
Peering into their toilets after eating the Halloween burger, consumers, expecting something brown, instead found greener pastures. The buns were black because they had been infused with A1 steak sauce, which consequently can turn stool green.
Let me pick a shade for you. That's what color was in the toilet.
While not a serious threat to one's health, some were concerned when the green turds persisted for 3 days. Considering that most associate green with witches, we suppose it matches the Halloween theme, although not the way Burger King intended. Number 2. The Monster Burger, Jack in the Box. With 2 patties, 3 kinds of cheese, and 8 bacon strips, the Monster Burger was promoted as, quote, so good it's scary. Unfortunately, it proved scary for all the wrong reasons. The discount burger was in such high demand that restaurants rushed it from the grill to the customer. Demonstrating how fast food can indeed be too fast, the burger wasn't heated long enough to destroy the bacteria.
More than 150 people have become ill after eating tainted hamburger meat at Jack in the Box restaurants in Idaho and Washington state.
The Monster Burger spawned a wide-sweeping E. coli outbreak, which reached 732 people throughout 73 Jack in the Box locations in 4 U.S. states. Many were quite young, with 4 dying. 178 more suffered permanent side effects. Persisting from December 1992 to February 1993, it remains among the most infamous and monstrous outbreaks in fast food history.
We immediately decided to increase the cooking time of our hamburgers. In addition, we took the extraordinary step at that point and replaced all the hamburger patties in every restaurant in Washington and Idaho.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1. The whole menu, Chipotle. Few chains have sparked more health concerns than this Mexican grill. In 2008, Chipotle was at the center of hepatitis and norovirus outbreaks that happened within only 1 month of each other. 2015 proved to be an even more disastrous year.
This morning, fast food chain Chipotle is at the center of another E. coli outbreak. The CDC is investigating a second outbreak of the virus affecting customers in 3 states.
Not only did norovirus return, but the chain saw numerous E. coli cases as well as a salmonella outbreak. Chipotle strove to clean up their act and food, but norovirus reared its ugly head again in 2017, with the following year bringing a Clostridium perfringens outbreak, which reached more than 700 people.
It started to seem like every time Chipotle reopened a store after a food poisoning incident, it had to close another one.
Between 2015 and 2018, more than 1,100 people became ill due to Chipotle's menu. In 2020, Chipotle agreed to cough up $25 million, the largest fine yet for a fast food safety case.
Chipotle admitted to a pattern of infractions that included storing food at the wrong temperatures and keeping sick restaurant employees on the job.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.